Welcome to my very first video of this channel. So I'm doing March Madness predictions, because why not? I'm gonna do an updated one every day. So this is March 1st updated, so let's go ahead and get started. So you might see 16, 12, 16, 12 or blank. It's because these ones need to be filled in first. So Georgia Tech vs. Indiana is the first game up. And I don't really know, Georgia Tech's kind of okay, and Indiana used to be really good, but I really think Georgia Tech's been doing really well recently, so I'm going to choose Georgia Tech. Then Prairie View, A&M, and Norfolk State. I don't know anything about either of them. I'll just go Prairie View, A&M. Michigan State vs. Toledo. I think it's obvious that, or Toledo, I don't know. I think it's obvious Michigan State. And I don't know too much about Siena or whatever. I know North Texas from football Division I, so I'm going to choose them. And that fills up the 64 team bracket. I really don't think these 4 games should exist, but it does, so can't do anything about that. So Gonzaga vs. Grand Canyon, I think it's obvious, Gonzaga. Because they're just really good. They're the only undefeated team left. I don't know about Grand Canyon at all, but Gonzaga is the only undefeated team left, and they finished their season, actually. They haven't done their tournament yet, which they have like a 97% chance of winning that, so yeah, there's no way they're knocking a 1 seed. Connecticut versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin was actually ranked really well earlier. I'm going to choose Wisconsin. They seem like a really good team. I don't know too much about how good Connecticut is, so here I'm going to choose Wichita State for the 12/5 upset, because there's got to be some upsets. Don't really know how well. Apparently, Oklahoma State is pretty good at basketball, but I just don't really know them as a basketball team, or know them as a football team. Wichita State, they're not in Division I football, so, and they are really good at basketball. So I'm choosing Wichita State. Here, Kansas vs. Wright State. I really thought Kansas would get a lower seed this season, but they've gotten multiple wins, and Kansas is looking really good. So Kansas. Here, I would maybe have chosen VCU, but Missouri is really good. They're a top team. They're ranked or something. So I'm gonna choose Missouri. Illinois versus Belmont. People would normally choose Belmont because they're like 24-2 or something. They were like 24-1, but that doesn't mean they're any good. They might be good, but they just haven't proved that because they haven't played any good teams. It's not their fault, but Illinois has definitely proved they can beat good teams. So I'm choosing them. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Rutgers would end a giant streak of not making the March Madness. Unfortunately for them, I would choose North Carolina over them in their first game. Villanova versus Liberty. Villanova's not doing too well against some teams, but I'm still going to choose them. Might not get that far, though. They were supposed to get a 1 seed like yesterday, but then they lost. So Alabama versus Prairie View A&M. Once again, don't know much about Prairie View A&M. Alabama's really good, so Alabama. Tennessee versus Xavier. I'm not really sure. Tennessee is always really good. Xavier, I don't know. I think I'll still choose Tennessee, but that could go either way. Oh, and Georgia Tech comes back. I might actually choose them as the 12/5 upset. Oklahoma's really good, but I think Georgia Tech could upset them. Purdue versus Furman. Don't know much about Furman, but Purdue's really good. So, yeah, Purdue. So far we've gotten 2 12/5 5 upsets, both over Oklahoma teams. USC versus Colgate. I guess I'll choose USC. I don't really know much about either team. Arkansas versus Georgia State. Yeah, Arkansas. Whoops. Arkansas. Yeah, they're gonna win that. And I'm hoping I'm choosing enough upsets. I've chose North Carolina over Rutgers, Wichita State over Oklahoma State, Wisconsin over Wisconsin over Connecticut, Georgia Tech over Oklahoma, stuff like that. I don't know if that's enough at all. But here I would choose another. Oregon's usually that team that just somehow beats good teams. So, San Diego State's in a kind of weak conference, so I'm sorry. And Ohio State. Going over here. So Michigan is now like second best this year, so yeah, they're really good. They're like 18-1. I would choose Texas Tech because they're also really good. Clemson, no 12 over 5 over here. And Creighton's like unstoppable. Well, they just got stopped actually, but Creighton's really good, so I'm choosing them. Loyola Chicago, I really think they could actually pull off another 11 over 6 upset. It's not just because of their last the last time they were in the tournament when they beat Miami and then made it to the Final Four as an 11 seed, but I really think they could. Iowa seems like they have a really good shot at winning the tournament. They have like a 6 or 7% chance of winning, which is more than everybody except, it's more than everybody except Gonzaga, Michigan, and Baylor. So they look pretty good. Louisville versus UCLA. I would sometimes choose UCLA, but I think I'd choose Louisville. They're pretty good. They have a good shot of getting pretty far in the ACC tournament. Houston versus South Dakota State. Houston. Baylor versus North Texas. Baylor. But Baylor's not been doing well recently. They nearly lost to 2-16 Iowa State and then lost to Kansas. Kansas was ranked like 17 and they were like 17-8, but still unacceptable. You're 18-0. Maryland versus St. Bonaventure. Don't know much about St. Bonaventure. Choosing Maryland. Michigan State versus Florida. I'm really thinking Michigan State's like bringing their season back. They used to be one of the best teams ever, and I think they'll continue that. Texas versus California at Santa Barbara. Texas. Oh, and this is another 12 over 5 upset. So it's 3 12 over 5s. Then here's the if this bracket happens, here's the matchup I'm waiting for. My favorite team, Virginia Tech, versus my least favorite, Virginia. Virginia has a 3-game loss streak, while Virginia Tech just crushed Wake Forest. My goodness, there's a truck that's being really loud. So I really do think Virginia Tech could beat them. They beat them earlier this season. So I really think Virginia Tech should be more like a 7 or a 6 seed. I think this game should be the opposite. Virginia Tech a 6 seed and Virginia would be more like an 8 or 9 seed actually. Ooh, just realized who they'd be playing afterwards. Florida State versus Vermont. Why is it always that Florida State plays Vermont in the tournament? Every single time. I'm sorry. I don't like Florida State either, but saying sorry to myself, but Florida State. Now, Colorado versus Seton Hall. I know Seton Hall's pretty good, but Colorado is also really good. So, Colorado and West Virginia. I will be right back. Just give me like 10 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Alright, Gonzaga versus Wisconsin. Gonzaga, like I said, they're basically unstoppable. Alright, we have a Kansas matchup. Wichita, well, both teams are in Kansas, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Kansas is in Kansas. I'm pretty sure Wichita State's in Kansas. Unfortunately, Wichita State's run would come to an end and Kansas would win. So, Missouri versus Illinois. I don't really want to have to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, but Illinois. But I will not do the 2 seed. I'll choose North Carolina. So, yes. Starting to rain outside. Looks like it's gonna thunderstorm. It's the beginning of March. Alright, Alabama over Tennessee. If this was any other year, I would choose Tennessee, but Tennessee's not doing as good as they usually do, and Alabama's doing amazingly good. Now, Georgia Tech versus Purdue. Okay, continue Georgia Tech's run and give them 3 March Madness games in a row. Wins. Is that 3? Yeah, 3. That would be 3. I think I will. This Georgia Tech team continues to go 3 March Madness wins in a row if you count this one. USC versus Arkansas. Arkansas is just really good. You can't just have a Elite 8 without, or a Sweet 16 without Arkansas. Then I'm really tempted to put Oregon here, but I can't just knock out two seeds in one. Ohio State is really good. Alright, Michigan versus Texas Tech. Michigan. Clemson versus Creighton. Creighton. Okay, here's where it really becomes hard between these 2 matchups. I really would want to say Loyola Chicago, but I'm gonna have to say Iowa. And I'm gonna say Louisville as well. Louisville upsetting Houston. Houston, sorry. Along with Wichita State, they're just kind of in a weaker conference. The conference is really good compared to conferences like where North Texas or UCSB or anything is in, but it's not as good compared to like the ACC or Big Ten or the Big 12 or the SEC. So that's why I'm not choosing Houston. Baylor versus Maryland. You know what? I think I'm going to choose Maryland. I would always choose Baylor in this matchup, but they've been doing really weak lately. And Maryland will get the 8/1 upset. Now they could face a 12 seed or a 4 seed. Well, I already have 1 12 seed in the Elite 8. Don't know if I'll be able to have a second. I'm sorry, I'm going to choose Texas. Then Florida State, and I can't just keep getting rid of 2 seeds, so West Virginia. Alright, Gonzaga versus Kansas. Gonzaga, Kansas isn't going to wipe out the last 2 undefeated teams. They're not going to do that. Illinois versus North Carolina. This is a hard one, but I'm going to choose Illinois. Illinois into the Elite 8. Alabama versus Georgia Tech. I'm really sorry, Georgia Tech, but this is where it comes to an end. And Arkansas will beat. Well, no. Ohio State. Oh no. Okay, so then Creighton versus Michigan. I think I'm gonna have to come back to that and choose Iowa here. Alright, I'll choose Michigan. I've got a lot of, I've got 1 versus 3, and here it's gonna at least be a 4 or 8 seed. And I think So far Maryland's the like Cinderella team, so didn't choose Maryland into the Elite Eight. Don't ask why, because I have no idea either. Then Florida State, sure. I only have one 2 seed remaining, which is Ohio State. You know what, I'll go ahead and do it right now. Ohio State will continue on. I'm sorry, Gonzaga, I'm sorry, Illinois, but Gonzaga will beat you. And here's another 2 tough ones. So we've got a 1, a 2. I could just do a 1, a 2, a 3, and an 8 or something. Or we could have 2 3s, a 1, and a 2. Or I could just have 2 1s. That'd be kind of boring, but I will do that. Michigan will win that. You know what? I want to keep it fun. Have a Cinderella team in there. Maryland. So we got a Gonzaga, Ohio State, Michigan, Maryland Final Four. I've never gotten Maryland in past the top 32 in any bracket I've ever made, probably. But here we are. I don't think I've ever had Ohio State. I've made a lot of brackets for this year. I don't think I've ever had Ohio State in the Final Four either. In this year, at least. Gonzaga and Michigan both have. So we'll have Gonzaga, and unfortunately boring top 2, the top 2 best teams. So Gonzaga will face Michigan, and you just can't stop Gonzaga. I'll make it close at least. It'll be 75 to 71. There we go. Wait, this is in the very middle. Okay, it is. So that's that. So teams like have teams like Wichita State. No wonder they didn't make it too far. Teams like North Carolina into the Sweet 16, Georgia Tech, Maryland into the Final Four. Did I say Sweet 16 or Elite 8? Louisville into the Sweet 16. Yeah, so I've quite a few upsets. In every bracket I make, I try to have at least one oddball team in the Elite 8 or in the Final Four. And usually try to make it like 9, 10, 11 or so, something like that. Sometimes it's 7. I don't think I've ever done an 8. I think it'll just be that Maryland just beats St. Bonaventure, faces a not so good Baylor. They're not doing too well. They're rusty right now. Then the momentum brings them past Texas, brings them past Florida State, and then Michigan's just too good to let Maryland pass them. So that's that. Thank you for watching, and I'll do one of these tomorrow as well.